everyone! Today is another day in the Mermaid Challenge, and if you didn't watch last week's video, I'll do a quick little summary of what I'm doing. I am painting a mermaid every day based on a different fish, sea creature, or any kind of animal that lives in water. So far, I have done a dolphin, a pufferfish, a koi, a sea dragon, and a blue tang. Today, I'm going to be creating a mermaid based on, drumroll, though you've already read it on the top left corner of the paper, a betta fish, or beta, however you want to say it. I started out by making sketches of my ideas for the mermaid. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record before diving into it. I got the camera all set up, the lighting just perfect, and forgot to hit record. Oh well, it's a good thing these first sketches don't really have much to do with the finished piece. It's just in the last two that I really got my idea. Anyways, let me explain what I'm doing. I made this sketchbook so that I could alternate the pages with sketch paper and watercolor paper, because I wanted to keep all my doodles, ideas, and final illustrations together for the final sketchbook tour at the end of the month. I'm using a ballpoint pen here to doodle my ideas on the sketch paper before I dive into drawing on the watercolor paper. This reduces the amount of erasing I have to do, and the composition tends to flow better if I make a few little thumbnail sketches before I start. Once I'm happy with my idea, I then turn the page and I sketch it out on the watercolor paper. I like to use these Prismacolor very thin colored pencils to do my rough sketching. They are harder and less waxy lead than other colored pencils, so they won't interfere with any of the line art or watercolors. You know how you can't go over crayon or colored pencil with an ink pen because of the waxy coating it gives the paper? Well, this colored pencil doesn't do that. I've heard good things about the Prismacolor color erase pencils as well, but since I have a whole set of these to go through, I will hold off on trying the color erase pencils till these are worn down to nothing. Now off the topic of drawing supplies and on to the topic of the subject matter. You ask, how did I come up with this idea to have a mini mermaid in a fishbowl? I don't really know. I could say these ideas just come to me. But I think this idea stuck in my head because betta fish are commonly kept as pets, and I just had this little story in my head of someone finding her in a puddle or a rice paddy and taking her home with them to be their pet. I don't know if the puddle might have been drying up and they were saving her, or if they thought she was a large betta fish and just thought she was pretty, but that was kind of my idea for this piece. She's confused and maybe a little scared, and the bowl is a bit too cramped, but at least she isn't in a tiny puddle in the hot sun, and maybe she will get a bigger bowl when the person has a chance to get out and buy one. I had a lot of fun designing this mermaid because I have quite an affinity for betta fish. When I was little, like around 10 years old, I got a betta fish as a pet. And in my family, if there is any animal we want to have as a pet, we research the topic extensively. It's like we are addicted to knowledge, especially knowledge about animals. So before we got the fish, and even afterwards, we learned all kinds of interesting and amazing facts about this little fishy. They are so beautiful and their personalities are so adorable. And by adorable, I mean super sassy. I thought since I have all these random and probably useless facts in my head, I could share them with you and kind of give you a little bit of information about the betta fish. So hold on to your hat because I'm about to take you on a moderately interesting and only slightly thrilling ride into the life of a betta fish. So first off, betta is not really the name of the fish. Well, it is, but it's the genus name. The species name of the fish that people are familiar with is the Betta splendens, the common name being the Siamese fighting fish. The Betta genus actually covers a group of small freshwater fish in the gourami family. These fish can breathe air, and I'm not talking about oxygen through their gills like most fish. It can do that, and it normally does that, but if required, it can take in air through an organ called a labyrinth, similar to human lungs. I thought that was so amazing when I learned that. It blew my 10-year-old mind. Because of this, the betta is a very hardy fish, And even though it is normally from the Mekong Basin, which is a river in Southeast Asia, it can live in all sorts of places, like flooded rice paddies, slow-moving streams, and even ditches and puddles. And the reason that they get to all of these different places is because of how they breed. The males make bubble nests. Yes, bubble nests. The males will blow little bubbles on the surface of the water and link them all together to create this little patch of bubbles. It is the most adorable thing, because even if they do not have a female, they will still make bubble nests. It's kind of a territorial thing, but it's still adorable. The female will lay her eggs inside the bubbles, and if there's any agitation in the water, the nest will break up and the eggs can go pretty much anywhere. And if there's any flooding, the eggs will leave the river and hatch wherever they happen to end up. So that's how you get bettas in puddles. And you know how I said that the common name was the Siamese fighting fish? I'm sure most of you are aware of the reputation these guys have for being aggressive. They are very territorial, and they will flare out their gills to try to intimidate any opponent. I'm sure if you are the same size as a betta, you would be terrified, but with them being only the size of my pinky, their little sassy attitude is the cutest thing. And like with most animals, each one has a different personality. Most of them will flare at bright colors, thinking it's another male. Some will puff up at anything in front of them, and some are so docile that they won't puff up at anything. Whoa, okay, I got carried away with betta facts, and the video has gone on without me. I should probably get caught up on what I've been doing. So after I did my rough sketch with a colored pencil, I inked it with a Pigma Micron pen. Then I started painting with my Sakura Koi watercolors. I used my Pentel water brush rather than the water brush that came with the set, because I really like my Pentel brush and I'm used to how it works. I'm not so used to the Sakura brand water brush. When you squeeze it ever so slightly, water starts dripping out of it. I guess I need to just let gravity do more of the work with that one, but I still haven't gotten used to that yet. I wanted to have a really nice fade to all of the colors, so I used a larger round brush dipped in water to feather the edges and give it a really nice gradual fade. I had such a great time working on this mermaid, and I hope you found this video fun and informative. I also hope you enjoyed hearing a few little facts about the betta fish. If you want to see these mermaids every day, be sure to follow me on Facebook or Instagram, links in the description, where I post them daily. I make weekly art-related videos, so if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments. So are you participating in Mermay? If so, how's it going? Are you staying ahead and keeping those mermaids going every day? Have you learned anything from this challenge so far? I know it's only been a week, but there's a lot of growing that can be done in a week. I know I've learned some things this week, and I think it might be improving on my storytelling skills a little bit. Oh, by the way, check back in on Friday, because this week I will have a special extra speed paint for you. As always, have a great day. Bye.